Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope that everyone had a great week so far. I know my week was good. I always have a good week. Whether good or bad things happen, I always have a good week because, hell, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I didn't wake up in glory today. So, so anyway, welcome to the Talks with TJ podcast. I am your host, TJ, and this is our third episode. Yeah, third episode. And if this is your, if you're coming back again, welcome back. Glad to have you back. But if this is your first time for real, welcome. I hope you find some value in what I have to say and that you continue to come back and listen in. Always welcome to come back and listen. So I came to the realization last week we were talking about boundaries, and this week, we're going to be talking about standing in your power. Don't be scared, stand in your power. And I came to the realization that, oh my God, like I formatted these episodes out in a way that almost in the same sequence that I took my own personal journey through self-discovery. So I didn't realize I had did that. So thank you God, I guess. He really helped me put them in order there, and I didn't realize it. But anyway, so like I said, today is don't be scared, stand in your power. So last week we were talking about boundaries, and once you figure out what your boundaries are, what you need to help you get that peace of mind, basically, because that's what boundaries really do give you, is that peace of mind. You draw that hard line in the sand, and you don't let nobody cross it. And it gives you that peace of mind. So now you got that peace of mind with setting them boundaries, and now it's time to like really figure out what is unique about me, what is the power that God gave me, because now you have that mental space. If you were like me, where people were taking up that mental space with all their problems, and now you didn't have no energy for yourself to even think about this stuff. Now you have the energy and the mental space to really think about what is it about me that makes me stand out and that's unique, and what is it that God wants me to do. Like I said, I believe everybody has a purpose. So a little bit of backstory about me and how I came to discovering what my powers were, my little unique powers. So I'm just going to give you a few of them, and I'm going to give you really small ones too, like really small ones that probably people wouldn't even think of, because the ones that I give you people wouldn't think of because they think that it comes naturally. And I had to come to a realization that they don't come naturally to everybody. I thought they came naturally to everybody at one point, and I got a wake up call when I realized this. No, a lot of people that don't really can't do this. Uh, so anyway, imagine look TJ. I grew up in North Carolina, Winston Salem, North Carolina, and I realized at a young age that I was very, very different from the people my age and who I grew up. I was very different. Like I was into different things. Like for example, y'all about to see how much of a nerd I am. I was into like documentaries, like watching the History Channel and stuff like that, or crime docu- crime documentaries as a child. And I like to watch the Cooking Network and HGTV. Like I was really into real estate. I'm still into it now. Well, hell, I still watch them. What I'm talking about. And um, also, I don't know if it's CNN, my country accent, CNN, but I used to watch the stock channel on I guess CNN, with all the different stocks and the graphs and the. So I used to like the numbers that came by, and I used to listen to them talk, even though that I did not know what the hell they was talking about. But I used to like to watch that stuff. So it's very different than what my counterparts were into at that time. And that didn't really bother me, like too much, because as a young child, you don't really pay attention to other people. Like it gets to a point where as you grow in age, you do start to realize that you are different. You just I think uh or you stand out in some way. I think everybody kind of goes through that realization at some point in their lives, that you have differences about yourself than other people. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe you didn't go through that. But anyway, I think the only thing that I did that was somewhat normal was play basketball. But even then, and I say normal with quotation marks because I really don't believe in quote unquote normal. But even then, because I did not mind being alone, I I would go play basketball alone. I would rather play basketball alone. Like I didn't mind playing with other people, but I would rather play basketball alone than with other people. So like I used to get up early in the morning and go shoot basketball by myself. So I didn't mind being alone. So that was another one. And I was really, really, really into reading. To the day I still like to read. So anyway, um, like I said, when I was young, like kind of young, it didn't bother me. But as I got older, like teenage, young adult, it became blaringly obvious just how different I was. Like it was like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. That's pretty much if you can picture that. That's how different I was. Like I didn't fit in at all. Like, when you get into that preteen age or not preteen, but in mid-teen age and young adult, of course now they're starting to date and probably into drinking and hanging out and partying and stuff like that. And I wasn't into it at all. Like when I say I hated it, like I hated it. And I hate to use the word hate, but that's how I feel about it. Like to this day, I still hate that type of stuff. It just not move me at all. Like it just will, you know. And I don't want nobody to feel no type of way because it's not me trying to bring down anybody that's into stuff like that. Like it just never was me. I could never ever get into it. But to my detriment, I did try to conform to that. I did try to fit in because I thought that, okay, these are my peers. They're the same age as me. Everybody else is doing it, so I should be doing it too. So why, so I tried to conform. I did. And I did that for a long time and I was miserable. I was truly miserable. So it got to the point where I think probably in my early 20s, it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Keep it. I ain't doing this no more. I'm not doing this no more because I hate it. And at the time, I really didn't know anything else about myself. Like when I say I was a mystery to myself, I was a stranger to myself. I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know what made me happy, sad, mad, glad. I didn't know anything about myself. Um, but I did know that I didn't like that stuff, but I didn't know why I didn't like that stuff. I didn't know why I was so different from everybody else. That was not revealed to me at that time. Uh, but I got to the point, and I remember this day like it's crystal clear. I remember thinking to myself, I would rather, hope you can hear the grit in my voice because that's how serious I was. I would rather be alone than to go and hang out in these clubs, bars, whatever, that and be around people that I have nothing in common with and really truly don't feel comfortable around. I'd rather be alone. At least I'm alone. I'm comfortable being alone because that's something that I already have. God already gave me. I don't mind being alone. At least I'm in my comfort zone. Like I'd be alone. So before that's it, I became a recluse. Like real talk. I became a recluse because that's how stubborn I am. That's how stubborn I was. Like I'd be alone. If everybody, I'd be alone. Yeah. And with that, at that time my mind was not as fortified as it is now. Unfortunately, it was not. And the devil can play tricks on you when you have a fragile mind and you're not really secure in who you are and know who you are as a person. Boy, the devil can really play tricks on you. So I started having problems with my self-worth, my self-esteem, depression, um, stuff like that. And it it got worse. It did get worse, but I guess to my defense, what saved me was the powers. Even though these are small powers that people don't think about, like I picked up a book and started reading. And somebody might be on here like reading, everybody reading, that ain't no power. But if you really think about how many people don't read, like I know people to this day, probably my age, have not read a book in probably since high school. I ain't gonna tell you my age, but that's a long time. Have not picked up a book since high school or since college, should say. I mean, that's a long ass time. So I picked up a book and I started reading. So I started reading instead of reading the usual books that I used to read was the smut book. And everybody knew what the smut books are, the love books and stuff like that. I stopped reading those and I started reading self-development books. It first started out with books on talking about dealing with depression and stuff like that, because that's what I was dealing with. I didn't have no other way or I didn't know, I shouldn't say I didn't have no other way. I didn't know how to deal with it because I didn't have anybody else around me that I knew of that was going through the same thing where they could help me out. So that was my outlet. I started reading books about stuff like that and then in developing stuff and stuff like that, you know? So something that's simple that God gave me, just the desire to read, which so many people don't, was really one of the things that started in me along my journey, because that fascination grew because I learned so much. Like, oh, I didn't know this and this and this, and then I wanted to get another book. And, oh, I learned this and this and this. So it started broadening my mind and opening my minds to new things that I wasn't previously exposed to, or I didn't have people around me that was doing stuff like this. So that helped me out a lot, you know. And also, the fact of, like I was saying, I didn't mind being alone. That helped me out a lot. So when and somebody else might be sitting here thinking alone, that ain't nothing serious either. But oh Lord, trust me when I say there's people out here that can't do it. And when I say alone, I really truly mean like not sitting in the house alone. Oh, I ain't talking about it like that. I'm talking about like doing things alone that you would normally do in a group setting. Going out to eat, going to the movies, shopping, going on vacation, like being okay with doing those things alone and not feeling some type of way, not feeling out of the box or feeling less about yourself or feeling lonely because you are alone. Like it's literally people that cannot do it. It's people that I've met that they've told me like I had to like work on and manifest being able to be alone. And I remember the first time I heard someone tell me that, and I like it blew. I mean, I say it blew my mind, like, cause I was like, I know I looked at them funny, cause I make faces, and sometimes I don't realize the faces that I make. I know I made a face, and I was like, what? But I had to realize, like, okay, that's something that God gave me that comes to me naturally, and some people have to work on it. It's some things that God may have gave you naturally that I have to like really, really work hard to get to that point to have. So everybody has different things. That's just one of my powers that God gave me that aided me. And it's something so simple, but it's something that can take you to such heights that you want to believe, like the power of sitting alone and being able to not be persuaded by the devil. The devil won't put thoughts in your mind. I mean, it still happens to me today. He's gonna do that, but if you haven't harnessed that power or really grown that muscle, I guess, if for lack of a better word, it's gonna get to you. It really is. It's going to take a toll on you. Um. So, wow, boy. I mean, you're just making me think back to wow, all them times before when, I did not know this stuff. And when I was going through the motions of the stuff of discovering this, and yeah, it almost feel like it's come full circle. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad that, he gave me these things so I could, to help me get through that, because without it, I don't know if I would have made it through, or it probably would have been harder to make it through, you know? So I say all of this to say that first, after you set them boundaries, you know, and you get that peace of mind and then you're able to think, stand, find your power. Find out what is unique to you and only you that comes naturally that you can do without you don't even phasing you, without even thinking about it. And really harness that really, really truly build that muscle. Because I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you from experience. Like I just gave you a few of them. And I wanted to give you something that was so small and so minute that you would think about it, that you would think is a power that you possess, because people don't think about reading and spending time alone, but something so minute, because God can give you something so minute and it can take you to such heights, um, and or expose you to things that you would never think of, you know, things that beyond your wildest imagination, beyond your wildest dreams, you know, like I'm at a point in my journey now where just these little simple things is opening up even more doors for, open up even more opportunities for me, because I've grown that muscle and I continue to grow that muscle and I continue to flex that muscle or those muscles. And it just, God is amazing. God is amazing. So stand in your power. Find out what your power is. Find out what powers God gave you that only, like I said, only unique to you, and work those muscles. Work those muscles. And I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, it'll open up doors for you. You really will. So that's all I got for today. You know, I feel like I just like word vomited. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a great day. This is going to be the end of the show right here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope that you guys got some value, you know, some type of value out of it, you know. What I had to say, how my journey um, helped me get to this point where I am, and it's going to continue to progress me into where how God sees me, honestly, and go from there. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you're going to work or getting off of work, get you some rest, going to work, don't work too hard. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next. Peace out.